Bread and beer. That's what most people imagine when they think of ancient Egyptian food. But here's the twist. While pyramid builders really did survive on bread and beer, pharaohs feasted on foods that would surprise you. Imagine honey-drenched pastries, roast goose, figs straight from temple gardens, and even exotic imports like pomegranates. Today we're going to uncover the real menu of ancient Egypt. From the humble meals of farmers to the lavish banquets of pharaohs, this is the story of what the ancient Egyptians truly ate and why their diet may have been healthier than ours today. Stick around because by the end, you'll discover the shocking role food played not just in daily life, but in religion, medicine, and even the afterlife. The lifeline of Egyptian food was, of course, the Nile River. Every year, the flooding deposited rich black soil, kemet, as Egyptians called it, perfect for farming. Without the Nile, there would have been no bread, no beer, no Egypt. So what did they grow? Wheat and barley were staples. Wheat became bread, and barley was used for beer. Lentils, chickpeas, onions, garlic, and lettuce were common vegetables. For fruits, dates and figs were everyday snacks, while grapes were turned into wine for the wealthy. The Nile didn't just feed crops, it also provided fish. Tilapia, catfish, and Nile perch were regular catches. Some fish were salted and dried to last longer, while others were eaten fresh. Bread and beer were not just food, they were the backbone of Egyptian life. Workers building pyramids were literally paid in bread and beer rations. But don't imagine fluffy white bread. Egyptian bread was coarse, heavy, and often filled with bits of sand or grit from the grinding stones. Archaeologists have found mummies with worn-down teeth, proof of how abrasive this bread was. Beer, on the other hand, was more like a thick, soupy porridge with alcohol. It wasn't just for fun, it was nutrition. Beer was safer than water, rich in calories and consumed by everyone, from farmers to pharaohs. Together, bread and beer made up the daily diet, fueling one of the greatest civilizations in history. Now, bread and beer may have been the staples, but Egyptians had a surprisingly rich variety of produce. Vegetables were central: onions, leeks, garlic, cucumbers, and lettuce. Lettuce wasn't just a salad green, it was associated with fertility and the god Min. Fruits were equally important. Dates and figs were sweet, portable snacks. Grapes gave wine to the elite, while pomegranates were prized imports. Melons, carob pods, and sycamore figs added variety. Even peasants could enjoy these foods in season, though the wealthier classes had year-round access through storerooms and imports. Meat was not an everyday food for most Egyptians. It was reserved for the wealthy or for festivals. Cattle, sheep, and goats provided meat, but poultry like ducks and geese were more common. Wealthy Egyptians might dine on roast beef or lamb, while peasants relied more on fish. Fish was plentiful in the Nile, but certain species were considered sacred and forbidden to eat. For example, the oxyrhynchus fish was associated with the goddess Hathor. As for dairy, cheese and milk were part of the diet, though milk wasn't always common for adults. Cheese, however, has been discovered in ancient tombs, proving it was valued. For Egyptians, food was also medicine. Garlic and onions were prescribed for health. Honey was prized as an antibacterial salve and sweetener. Dates and figs were used in remedies, and beer sometimes carried herbal infusions. In fact, the Ebers Papyrus, an ancient medical text, lists hundreds of recipes combining food and medicine. To Egyptians, eating wasn't just survival, it was healing. So what did ancient Egyptians really eat? Bread and beer kept the workers going, fruits and vegetables added flavor, fish and poultry brought protein, and the wealthy indulged in feasts fit for gods. Their diet was shaped by the Nile, enriched by religion, and preserved for eternity in tombs and texts. Next time you enjoy bread, beer, or honey, remember, you're tasting the flavors that fueled the builders of pyramids. If you enjoyed this dive into ancient Egyptian food, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments.